I'm gonna go out and apologise and say that to him.
Listen to Iron Maiden, baby, with me.
Recording this.
Happy New Year! It is 2024.
It is.
We're going to see Iron Maiden in 9 months, and I'm scared one of them's going to die. Oh no! Welcome to the podcast. I'm Ash, and I'm from South Wales,
I'm Ante. I'm from New South Wales.
and we are here to listen to Iron Maiden.
In the year of the dragon.
Oh, that's right. It's the
Jeez.
Chinese New Year, the Dragon Year. That's right.
Mhm.
Happy New Year, mate. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Yourself? Happy New Year.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Didn't get up to much.
Nah, well, I just got this thing, permanent visa. It's pretty cool.
Ooh. Oh, you're allowed outside of the house now, eh?
Yes. I did watch Oliver again.
Did you?
I was inspired by the podcast.
You just couldn't get enough. You
More?
needed more.
Because I listened back to the podcast more,
Yeah,
and I was just laughing at you saying more. I was like, I gotta watch it. So if you're here for the banter, I'm a huge Iron Maiden fan, and I'm taking Ante on a ride, the Eddie ride. To enjoy.
It's a bumpy ride,
It is bumpy.
but not in a bad way. I don't know how to take that now.
Mm,
Having fun.
I'm enjoying it too.
Yeah.
Crazy story, right? So I have a friend who I don't really get to see a lot because of, life.
Mhm.
And I got to see over the holidays.
Oh, cool.
Went there, and we've chatted, but I've never met his family properly.
Yeah.
Really weird. We were just chatting about music,
Mhm.
and he's into like proper like old punk and stuff like that.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to see Iron Maiden in Osaka.
Yeah.
And his eye just like lit up, and his
Ooh.
wife's eyes lit up too. And I was like,
What?
what? And he goes, oh, do you know we used to live by the pub. And I was like, what do you mean? The Cart and Horses? Because I knew when they say the pub, when you say Iron Maiden, you say the pub, it means the Cart and Horses,
Right,
the place
yeah,
where they
that's what I was
used to
thinking,
play all
yeah.
the time. Basically, my friend used to live opposite that pub.
What?
Yeah, and it's funny because when he was in London,
Yeah.
I was also there. I used to go there once a month and just like hang out there, just to like, oh my God, I'm in the Iron Maiden pub, And he was living across the street at the same time.
Oh,
And now we
wow.
both live in Japan,
Yeah.
in the same town.
That is weird.
Crazy,
man.
right?
Yeah.
And he was telling me all about like he used to phone the police all the time because there's people fighting outside and the music's loud or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. In
Yeah.
East London, small world, right?
That is weird, right?
And it's funny because like we've talked a bunch, but we've never actually talked about music. And the one
Yeah,
time we talked
yeah.
about music, it's like, oh, by the way, yeah, you know that band you really like? I used to live right by the pub. Crazy, in a small world.
I love those little stories like that, the coincidences and the...
Yeah, it's brilliant. But yeah, I was very surprised by that. Anyway, so yes, we have been listening to the albums and also the online documentary, the early years, which is fantastic. We've listened to Iron Maiden debut album.
Yes.
Did you enjoy that one?
Did.
Did you enjoy Paul?
I enjoyed Paul. It was a new thing for me.
Paul's lovely, isn't he?
Yeah.
Then we went on to Killers. Did you
Yeah.
enjoy Killers?
I enjoyed Killers, but Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was,
Yeah.
It's like I said, almost the one song.
That
was
one
just,
song is
yeah.
enough, right? Just
Yeah.
play Killers on a loop and I'm happy.
Yep, that's
and
it.
we've just recently finished the Number of the Beast.
Yeah.
Or,
we're in-
as is also known in Australia, 666. Yeah. So before we carry on, we have a little email.
Mm.
What is up with people that emailing the show?
Ah,
It's the guy from Finland again.
Ah.
Is it Juha?
Yuha.
But it's an interesting email because I like the title. The title of his email was Gateway Drug Called Iron Maiden. And before we actually get into it, he's totally right.
Nice.
Iron Maiden, as of now, are one of those gateway bands that you listen to before you get into the really heavy stuff.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Even though I kind of started with Slipknot, which is weird.
Yeah.
But I think he's right. It is true, though. Like those bands like, Judas Priest, Metallica, whatever.
You're totally on it. No, that just filtered for me because I'm thinking like, what was my heavy stuff that
Yeah.
All right, mind you, I was, probably 5 at the time, but
Yeah.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah, that was heavy back in the day, man.
And he's actually sitting there going, well, yeah, Slipknot.
Man, I got into heavy music as heavy as you can imagine. I mean, some of the stuff I used to listen to is insane. Like if you listen to like the Acacia Strain,
Mm-hmm.
these really, really heavy bands I really got into. But it's funny because I didn't like screaming for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
I only liked singing, but then I kind of started to understand it. I think it was Killswitch Engage, who are supporting Iron
Right.
Maiden right now.
Yeah.
They really opened up for me because they also have singing in the songs, but I started to understand that screaming in terms of like heavy metal is more like it's just an instrument.
Right.
It's not, they're not trying
Yeah.
to sing.
Yeah.
It just matches the vibe, you know? So,
Mhm.
it's not, but people think of singer as a singing, as I can't understand the words. Well, that's not the point. It's you're just creating an emotion
Yeah,
out
for
of it.
me too, it was a gradual thing to get into
Yeah.
the whole screaming part.
Yeah.
But now I'm very particular
Mm.
with the screaming. So
Yeah, me too. But it's gotten ridiculous now. Some of these new bands out, you're like, oh my God. There's this guy called Will Ramos, and he's in this
Rings a
band.
bell.
I can't remember what they're called, but when I heard his voice, I was like, no way, that's real. He sounds like a Resident Evil character or
Really?
something. Actually, let's do that. Let's check out this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the singer of a band called Lorna Shore, and they got this song called To the Hellfire. And
Yeah.
let's check this out.
Oh,
This is one guy. Your face.
what?
All right, enough of that.
I was thinking if we went back 100 years, they would have burnt him.
Right?
Like-
Right? Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, fucking, what is that? And he does like a lot of videos too, like where he shows his technique and stuff. He's really talented in that aspect, but heavy, even Maiden joke, like we used to be heavy, but they're quite mainstream now,
Right. You compare it to
Compare that, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Iron Maiden are a gateway band, and if you're like me, you can end up going into some dark places,
That's pretty dark.
Yeah. Anyway, so Yuha says, hi, Ash and Ante. My first encounter with Iron Maiden's music happened in the early 90s thanks to a friend's older brother. Like many other Finnish boys born in the early 80s, I was about 9 or 10 years old at the time. A few years later, when I entered middle school, grades 7 to 9, my music taste started to change. And although Iron Maiden still remained one of my favorites, it just didn't hold up to Children of Bodom, Nightwish, and Stratovarius in the mind of a 13 to 15-year-old. Totally understand that, mate. Like I said, can be a gateway drug.
Yep.
You start off with a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then you get heavier and heavier. In high school, my taste in music became even darker, and I got to know Amorphis, Arch Enemy, and Typo Negative. In the army at the beginning of the 2000s, I made a small return to the Iron Maiden, especially through the song Fear of the Dark. In addition to non-alcoholic beer and Finnish meat pies, the cafeteria had a jukebox with one Iron Maiden song, and it certainly played at least 10 times in the evenings. Maybe that's why Fear of the Dark is one of my favorite songs in my mind. Iron Maiden haven't released anything since 1993, but maybe you guys can give me some new insight.
See what we can do. But that's a good pick.
So he's right. I know what he means. Of course, Maiden totally is a gateway band.
Yeah.
And you not a gateway, but you start off with them, and you can go anywhere from them.
You really can.
Some people just go, yeah, I'm fine with Iron Maiden.
Yep.
But some people can be, you want heavier and heavier, because Iron Maiden don't really go heavy, like not like Metallica do go heavy sometimes,
Yeah. Again, different beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they Maiden really go the way you're like, whoa, that's heavy. There's only a couple of times where there's a song called Montesagur, which is on later albums, and you're like, oh, that's a bit surprising from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's right. I don't know what it's like growing up in Finland, but I did love Eurovision Song Contest this year. Finland's entry was amazing. It was.
How do I know it?
Oh my God. Listen to this is an amazing song. It's called Cha Cha Cha.
Oh, I think this rings a bell.
What's funny, right, is that in Eurovision, everybody was voting for this song. The crowd was shouting Cha Cha Cha.
Yeah.
And the presenter's a British lady, and she's trying to be like, guys, can you be respectful? And you can see on her face, she's like, fucking shut up. But everyone is like, Cha Cha Cha. Now, let's play a little bit. This chorus is banging. I love his little Hulk outfit too.
It's like a colourful Rammstein.
It is. He's got a Rammstein tattoo on his thing. He loves Rammstein.
There you go.
This chorus is amazing. What a tune.
Yeah.
Cha, cha, cha.
It's so Eurovision.
So good, right? Cha, cha, cha. Man, I've been banging this in my car for the last couple of months. It's been on heavy rotation.
Eurovision's massive in Australia.
Of course it is. We let you guys in because it's so big.
I never understand that.
It's funny,
Even
right?
if someone's like, guys, come on.
You guys are European. You're just located in a weird part of the world, that's all.
You just sent all your thieves there.
Exactly. You're all a bunch of Europeans. You just live in the bottom of the
A
planet.
loaf of bread. More.
More?
Off to Australia for you.
Exactly. Yeah, but yeah, Finland rules, man. That song is so good. They should have won. I think France won again, of course.
Finland, you know what? No offense to you, but you're grown on me. Movie-wise, have you seen Sisu?
No.
Dude. If you like movies, like an action movie, that's probably my movie of the last year, and that's Finnish.
All right, well, send me a link for that
I'll
later
send
and
you a
I'll
link
watch
for
it.
that one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll forget otherwise.
But
okay, sounds
anyway,
good.
Cheers for that, Yuha.
Yeah, Finland, man. Thank you for that song. I love it. Anyway, so let's have a little bit of a recap, right? So, guys, we've just finished listening to Number of the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to move on to basically before the next album, which is Peace of Mind.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler, it's a banger.
Yeah.
And that's when the pressure starts happening, when you've then got to write songs in a certain period of time.
You know, I'd started to write more, and I think there was a lot more ideas, and we could tell, I definitely thought it was really going to be something special. I remember going around to Steve's place, I think he still lived with his gran or something, and he was playing me, the idea for like Number of the Beast. And I thought, wow, that's amazing, it's really different, and the beat he came up with and all that.
The songs, Bruce, and the whole thing seemed to lift. It seemed to go to another level.
I actually thought this ain't gonna work, but then I heard Number of the Beast and I thought, oh my God, and I've done it. I still do it today. I still think Bruce Dickinson is the best Maiden vocalist ever.
Paul was a great singer too, but Bruce had a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and we were working very well with Martin at that point.
I remember when we did the opening Number of the Beast, I got Bruce to sing it over and over and over again because I knew what I wanted.
Martin would always drag out a little bit more, to the point where sometimes, bits of furniture went flying across the room in the studio and things like that out of frustration. It's just like, okay, cool. No big deal. As long as we get the performance, that's all that matters.
I drove him crazy. I think he ended up throwing chairs around the studio and screaming and yelling, and went home with a blinding headache, threatening me that he's never ever going to sing again. But I think now when he listens to it, he realises, oh yeah, he was right.
And I enjoy making records with Martin. They're not always comfortable, but they're always bloody good.
You make it an album or a song or anything, and you don't think, we've just made a classic song, yeah? Well, that's a bit, you don't think that, you just don't think like that. Not at all. No, you think you've made a strong album. You think, we're really proud and confident with this. You think like that.
Yeah, I have a great time listening to it, thinking, yeah, that was you. That was you, kiddo.
Yes,
I like
Clive, that was you.
Yeah, I like that last one.
Good, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Good on him, man. So you should be proud.
You should be, man.
Yeah.
So, there we go. So, build up basically the pressure, right? So, Adrian Smith was talking there about writing more, right? So, basically, Paul did 2 albums. Then Bruce comes in. They do Number of the Beast. They become a massive band. And now, what happened was the first 2 albums were basically songs they'd already written like 4 years before.
Yep.
Number of the Beast was basically all new stuff. They pinched a couple of stuff.
Yeah, didn't they?
Yeah, and Clive Burr was in the band as a drummer, and it was his last album basically. But Adrian was just talking there about having, the pressure of writing new stuff for the album, which was Number of the Beast. But look what happens under pressure, lads.
Right, man. You know what? Sacrifice a few chairs,
Exactly.
a few walls, you'll be fine.
Yeah, Bruce was being pushed really hard in the studio by Martin Birch, which is what you want. You want to get, like I said, his vision, as Dave Mustaine said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, someone's got a vision, know exactly what they want to try and the best to try and get out of it.
Yeah.
It's funny because Adrian says that he was going to Steve's grandmother's house with Steve, and he's playing him Number of the Beast. His grandmother's like, do you want a cup of tea, love? Yeah. and it's funny because I'm sure he's showing her Number of the Beast. He's showing Adrian Number of the Beast, and his grandmother's like, oh, that's catchy. And she's probably like, oh, what about doing like this part there? Because when I heard that, it reminded me of my uncle.
Yeah.
So I used to go to my grandfather's house when I come back from London, and I would just chill out there and write music and stuff. And my uncle would come over sometimes, and I'd be playing stuff, and he'd go, "Oh, that's good. Oh, play that again." And he'd be like, "Oh, what about this?" Like trying to give me pointers, whatever.
Right.
And I remember like I was writing this song once, and like he said something, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." I didn't even use it.
Yeah.
But we recorded a song which was that exactly song. And when he heard it, he was like, "Oh, that's the song I helped you with." I was like, "No." But, you know what I mean? But like in his mind, it's like Kanye West or something. Like he's you can't like, no, that didn't really happen, you know.
Meanwhile, Dave Grohl's hiding in the other corner.
Yeah, Dave Grohl was there trying to get in, you know, on drums, whatever. Oh, when you play this beat? No, Dave, I'm not playing anything. Whatever you play, I'm deleting it and burning the bloody studio.
Dave Grohl and your uncle.
Yeah, Dave Grohl and my uncle just getting in there, stealing credit for everything. Yeah. Anyway, and it's funny hearing Paul Di'Anno say that. I didn't think it was going to work, and I know what he means, because like if you did listen to the first 2 albums and then Bruce, you'd be like, "There's no way." It's so different.
Right, exactly.
You think that the fans would drop off, and a lot of fans did drop off, but they picked up 1,000, you know, double, triple more, you know. So
we don't need you.
Yeah, not anymore, mate. We got the real fans, you know.
Yeah.
And Bruce Dickinson coming, man, enthusiasm, man. Having someone who's highly motivated and has ideas and things like that is vital, because you know they've been together for almost 4 years by this point, writing 3 albums together. You know, you run out of ideas, and you need someone to be like, "Come on, lad. What about this? What about that?" And Number of the Beast, still amazing. But the main thing with Iron Maiden, guys, is the touring, right? That's where they make the money.
I remember on Number of the Beast, we did the Coliseum in El Paso, flew to England, did Reading Festival, and the next show was Long Beach, California, within a few days. It was pretty heavy going.
Yeah.
Yep.
Metal bands traveling around the world with huge amps. A lot of gear.
Hell, man. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny now when I think about it, because like imagine having to, like, this is why now most bands have gone digital. There's no amps anymore. Everyone's using these like Quad Cortexes or Kempers and things like that.
Yeah.
Basically like digital recreations of guitar sounds. And you think about it, a cabinet, a 4x4 cabinet and a guitar head on a plane in today's luggage, how much it would be.
No way.
It's expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
So when people complain about, oh, you know, I want real amps. All right, and we'll pay double your ticket for the gig so that I can actually bring it, because Jesus Christ, have you ever seen how much it is to like carry an amp and stuff like that?
It's like people that want a free seat for the other half of their ass. That's a whole different thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, in just general, flying is expensive, right?
It is,
and if you got extra weight, no matter where it is expensive. Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, man, Maiden have always been a band that have been, you know, touring. They make the money from touring. Live is where they excel, basically. But now one of the guys though wasn't pulling the weight. Now before we get to that, let's listen to some of Bruce's touring story, shall we?
The biggest factor that changes Saturday night out with the lads in a band to every Saturday spent in rehab or therapy is money and drugs. Access to either can seriously damage your mental health. We didn't have much money, actually. I don't think any of us had a credit card between us. But everyone wanted to give us drugs. Lots of them, and all for free.
Ante, come on then.
Yeah.
Admit it. You're a drug user, aren't you?
Oh, totally. Dude, before we stepped in and hit record, like I'm coked up, man.
You're a smackhead. See, I love it in UK. Anyone that's like looks dodgy, we just call them a smackhead. It's like really funny.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay, talking to that though, like my humor, like I always say things like smackhead and nonce, something, which is, you know, you shouldn't be saying that. Now
that's been in my head for the last few days. Fucking nonce. Anyway,
so of course I play PlayStation. I just got Resident Evil 4, the remake, which I'm really enjoying. But I also play Grand Theft Auto, and I'm in a group basically of it's like 15 people all around the world, some Welsh guys. We're in a group together, and like, you know, I'm joking. And what happened now is that Sony has added in AI to monitor what you're talking about.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so it's monitored everything you're saying. Now, I'm not saying anything terrible, but I'm always joking about, because one of the people in the group is a stripper from Canada.
Okay,
and we always like joke about, you know, she's having it's banter, you know.
Yeah,
we know each other, but new people join the group and they're like listening to me saying like, oh, yeah, you know, this bloody slag, you know, whatever. But it's a joke, right? But
you're amongst the group,
exactly,
friends,
yeah. But in the context of things, I should not be calling a woman a slag, 100%.
Yeah.
But
even if her name's Maggie.
Yes, or Charlotte, you know, and it's really, really like, I know I shouldn't be saying that, but it's just banter between two friends,
Yeah,
you know, it's a joke, but people that are listening to it are like, what the hell? What's going on here?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just really funny how like in modern times that, you know, like what's called like I say cancel culture, whatever, but like not just that, like, but just actually watching what you're saying. Because when you think about it, yes, you shouldn't be saying that to someone not because it's wrong, because, you know, so you don't know who's listening to it that has no idea what the context is.
But
yeah.
It's a bit scary though, right?
Yeah,
it's
it is scary.
There is obviously shit that I would say to you, Ashley, and
Yes.
not just someone I've just met.
No, of course, yeah.
So,
yeah, context
it's,
is very important, but you know, in today's age, like, you know, it's very difficult to see the context because you can cut up things and edit things very, very well. I mean, but drugs in general, like calling someone a smackhead.
Yeah.
In a way, I shouldn't be saying that because a lot of my family have been
smackheads.
Smackheads,
Okay,
yeah.
enough.
And it, you know, but the way the way I deal with things is by joking about it. You know, instead of being like, you know, yeah, I'm sorry, don't talk about that. Because I remember when I was in college, my class was quite a small class.
Yeah.
And we were joking about something, and someone goes, "Oh, that's bent." As in gay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You know, 'cause in the UK,
right,
people say bent or bend or whatever. And
okay,
but he meant to say like, oh, that's when I was growing up, the being gay was like the worst thing you could be.
Right.
So calling someone gay or a bender was like, oh my God, that's worse than anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he called, oh, that's bent. All of a sudden, this other guy just flew across the classroom and just started smacking him in the face. And we're like, what the hell's going on? And he's like, oh, because his brother was gay.
Oh, okay.
And he'd been bullied for it for years and years, and he just kind of just lost it at this doing it. But like in that context, he was just saying as a banter, like, oh, that's stupid, you know, whatever. But he didn't say, he said it was bent, meaning, and, you know, ultimately he shouldn't have said that because, you know, you're going to offend someone. But what he didn't mean to offend anyone. That is fine. I understand that. But for two friends of us joking together about something that's harmless, you know, like whatever. I mean, you're from Croatia saying some like stereotypical Croatian joke, whatever, between in the privacy of our own home is okay. But now the world is so open, you know, it's just, it's dangerous.
Open and closed at the same time, man.
Yes, Like we're having a private conversation, but we are choosing to record it.
Right.
Which is, so any criticism we get, we deserve it because we put it out there.
That's true. Yeah.
Like people are streaming and just out on the street chatting, whatever. You know, you can, you know, and you can say, well, just don't say anything offensive. Don't say anything bad. Well, like, but what people think is offensive is really, 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 really broad, you know? So
dude, it's massive,
difficult. Yeah, you know, it's very difficult, yeah? So yeah, anyway, but talking of drugs, we live in Japan. Drugs are a no-no here.
Big no-no.
Which is great because I realized that where I'm from, there's a lot of heroin, a lot of cocaine, and people end up on drugs. And the reason why they commit crime is because they need money to buy drugs.
Right.
And if there's no drugs here, there's barely any crime. And that's what Japan's like.
Doesn't that work well?
It does work well, yeah. So yeah, but it's funny because like Bruce says that he didn't do any drugs. I'm like, yeah, sure, Bruce, of course you didn't, whatever. But you know,
it's the same thing in Sydney too. You'll see these people in certain areas which you know, people aren't really well off around here. But wow, that is a nice Lamborghini.
Yes.
Sorry, what do you do? Oh, you don't work. Yeah.
Can I see your taxes, please? Yeah, but yeah, drugs in the band. You know what's new?
So I mean, the band actually went from £60 a week to £100 a week when the album been #1 for 2 weeks. You know, you didn't need more. You know, you're touring.
Money wasn't the issue. They were more concerned if they couldn't get out on tour and they couldn't get the right equipment and they couldn't have the right tools to do the best job for the fans.
The stage performances were no expense spared, but the band themselves lived extremely modestly on the road, and it was...
Okay, money in this day and age, right, is interesting because rock band is not mainstream, right?
Yeah.
So let's say in the 80s, even though they're only getting like 100 quid a week, whatever, he said they don't need that much anyway, which is true on tour.
Yeah.
But the money trickles down later, you know?
That's
You
right.
tour a lot, you sell CDs, and then the money trickles down to you that way. But in the modern times, there's no CD sales.
You're right. Yeah.
So a lot of guys, you got to make the money right now. So I've seen bands, famous bands, who are touring and they're offering guitar lessons on the road.
It's like, what?
It's crazy, right? Imagine that, you know, like, oh, can I have a guitar lesson from Adrian Smith? Yes. But bands these days have, especially rock bands, you know, where like, you know, the lack of CD sales has cut off, you know, a lot of revenue for a lot of people. So they got to make money however they can, meet and greets, and like I said, guitar lessons or whatever.
Because you're right. Because even like streaming.
Yeah,
What
streaming is
do
a
they
big one.
get?
Yeah,
Like it's not a big.
It's limited now, right? So back in the day, they could just focus on touring and doing the gigs, whatever, no problem, and the money will trickle down later.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't work. You got to make your money now because you have no idea how much you got to fucking pay later.
Right,
And now a lot of companies have like 360 deals where they take a percentage of everything you do.
Right.
No matter what you do, they're taking a percentage of it, and not just the music. And that's fair enough because, like I said, there's not that much money in music anymore. That's why if you're going to do a band, there's no point. I would just do a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Put your music on there.
You probably got more luck that way.
100%, right?
honest,
Yeah, and people will find you easier because people are searching on YouTube for music. So, him saying that the band didn't need anymore, they didn't need anymore because all they need is a couple, money that money is just like a per diem.
Yeah.
And when they go back home after a couple of months, the money will trickle in from there. But yeah, it's just totally different world now compared to the 80s. Yeah. But talking of gear, talking of drugs.
Yeah.
Now, for a lot of people out there who are guitar players, you will understand that the biggest drug in the world, 100%, is not cocaine or heroin. It is gear.
Yeah. Especially guitar pedals.
Guitar
right?
pedals, amps. Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
For a couple of years there, man, I was just fully chock-a-block. All I cared about was gear. And this funny thing is now I've come totally the other way around is that I know that 90% of people don't care about your guitar tone when you go to watch a band.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody cares.
But you do.
I care. And I just became addicted to buying pedals and trying all these new things and stuff. And I was like, and it's just, you just get caught up in this nonsense, basically.
We get one pedal and then there's another one's like, you've got a list already.
Yes. Yeah. I got a huge list of stuff. Yeah, I did it, man. I spent a lot of money. I sold it all now, but I did go down that route. And then I just went digital. And I was like, this is much easier.
Right?
Yeah. Because we used to have like amps and cabinets and all this stuff and lugging around, and then we just switched to digital. Now I can do everything with one button. It's like nobody cares. The audience is like, oh, actually your tone has changed. Nobody give a shit. Yeah.
It's like the last big pedal I bought was basically a big effects modeling thing. So it's just like exactly.
They're so good now, man. They're so good. Megadeth are doing the Quad Cortex, which is a company called Neural DSP.
Yeah.
So if you do play guitar, man, if you've got a computer, just buy a Neural DSP plug-in for like $50.
Yeah.
It sounds incredible.
I think I've also got one from, this is old Native Instruments one. The guitarist from Rammstein.
Native Instruments one. Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Sounds great. These digital models sound very, very good. Of course, they'll never feel like a real amp, but who gives a shit? People are listening to the music.
Yeah.
And depending on what kind of music you're making, unless you like doing like, I don't know, Joe Satriani, the tone doesn't really matter. All that matters is if it's a good song, So don't worry about it. But, back in the day, Iron Maiden, I want a Marshall 1963. Blah, blah, blah.
Yep. How many quad boxes you need?
Yes.
A wall.
Don't get into it, guys. Don't get into guitar pedals. It is a dangerous world.
It's taken a while for European tour buses to catch up with their American cousins, and back in 1982, there was simply no comparison. The American Eagle was like a whorehouse on wheels.
How dare you, Bruce?
Wow.
Whorehouse on wheels.
Can't believe he said that.
I know. Are you saying that you pulled a lot of birds, did you? No, I did read in the Run to the Hills, an official autobiography by Iron Maiden, that basically they were not really that much into drugs, but they were into the old girls.
Ah, okay. It's one or the other, or both.
What's the word? Vice.
Right, that's one. Yep.
So everybody's got their vice.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I would say that definitely drugs, alcohol, all this stuff, whatever, for men, women, being in a band where women are walking up to you going, hello, I would like to have sex with you.
Yeah.
It is insane, right? To think about it, And even like geeky, Weezer.
Yeah, yeah.
So they look kind of geeky, right?
Right, yeah.
Even they wrote a song about, there's a song where they were just tired of sex, that's right. Like these nerds are in this band and they're so bored of having sex with random girls. They're just like, let's write a song about it. Weezer!
Wow.
Imagine Bon Jovi you just talked about earlier.
Right.
I mean, it's insane. Back in the 20s, early 20s, you just like, it's insane because it was really, 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 for me, you'd see these guys and you're like, oh, he's cool, good mate, whatever. And then, you become friends and, you just hang out with each other. It's no problem, whatever.
Yeah.
But then, wait a minute, he's got like 10 girls on the go. Who's he texting? And he'd be like, oh, I'll see you later, mate. And he'd go for like 10 minutes, whatever. And he'd come back and you're like, where are you? Oh, nothing. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh.
And
hang on.
He'd just be like seeing some girl, whatever. And it's like setting up the next week's girl or whatever. You know what I mean? And I was like, whoa, teach me.
I know, man.
Because I was laughed at for like things like that in school. I had no idea about anything. I remember I was on a bus once and like on the back of the bus, talking to buses. And these two like kids were like kids like 15 or whatever. They were kissing on the back. And my mate goes, oh, like, do you want to have a threesome? And I was like, what's a threesome? I had no idea what it was. And he's like laughing at me like, well, you don't know. I was like, I don't fucking know. Why would I know about that? You know, I had no idea about any of this stuff. And yeah, it was just funny. So, and then this one time my friend was like, she was crying or something, whatever. And I went over to see her. You know, what's wrong? My other mates were calling us, you know, hey, Ashley, come on. I was like, well, I'll be there 2 minutes. Oh, 2 minutes. I was like, they were like, oh, you only need 2 minutes, do you?
What do you mean?
I was like, what do you mean? I didn't get it. And they were calling me the 2 minute man, whatever. And I was like, and then it became, there was a song by Oasis.
Yeah.
Give me a minute, because that's my limit. And they were just singing that to me all the time. I was like, what are you on about? I didn't get the joke, you know? So yeah. Anyway, I was a little bit slow on that one. But yeah, apparently I Maiden like to bang. Who'd have thought it?
The front lounge was misery, where Rod plotted, played cards, and was grumpy, and where Steve watched hours of videos. The back lounge was naughty, where Clive, Davey, and Adrian disposed of a lot of vodka. I flipped from one to the other and found the whole process a tiny bit frustrating.
Oh, Bruce. Yeah, I was just so innocent and everyone else was doing this bad stuff and I wasn't doing anything.
I got dragged into it. I was just, come on. Man.
Steve watching the films though, he's just like, I need lyrics. I need song content quick.
Fuck off, I'm working.
Yeah. That's him, Steve watching the film, See, Steve going to the movie theater. What are you doing? Working. At the theater? You work at the theater? No, just, research.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's fun because it's funny when they say this stuff though about Dave Murray. I just can't imagine Dave Murray doing anything that isn't like like pruning a tree or something like that. You know what I mean? He looks so innocent and nice, and even Adrian is like really like nice guy. I can't imagine any of them being like wild, drinking and drugs and all that stuff. I just can't put it together.
Like another side to them.
Yeah, I can never imagine it in my mind. Dave just goes home, reads the newspaper, and just has a cup of tea, and that's it. That's it.
That's what he should be doing.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah.
Rod would know what the band were doing 12, 15, 18 months ahead.
This is when this album's going to be delivered. Here's what the artwork's going to be. They had it all incredibly planned out.
He'll be able to tell me when they're going to write the record, when they're going to go in and record it, and pretty much to the day when it's going to be released.
I had to make a plan and stick to it. If we found out that Elvis Presley was going to release his album on the same day as us, I'd go, well, fuck Elvis. I'm not going to change for anybody.
You could call him a maniac, but you could be nice and call him a driver, and he used to drive.
You need that, man. They always wind up Rod Smallwood, the manager, but clearly, man with a plan.
That's it.
Plotting. This is what we're going to do. You need someone to do that. Because most musicians would be like, all right, maybe, whatever. You need a guy that's like, listen, this is what we're doing. Shut the hell up. Get practicing.
Get around to it.
You need those kind of guys. So Rod is very, 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 I think, very, very underrated in the success of the band because clearly the other guys are really chilled and, they got ideas. But in terms of like, you can imagine them at the hotel.
Yeah.
The mini bar's got no water in there. I'm like, oh, it's all right. I'll get it tomorrow. I was like, no. Where's your foot in water? Things like that. You need some people like that, and Maiden all like that. But yeah, Rod Smallwood, man, big man. Anyway, let's hear about some of the fashion.
Steve was now wearing a pair of black plastic trousers, tights basically, and they looked like they'd been sprayed on. Trouser envy took over, and I found the same type in Paris, but in red. The singer of UFO, Phil Mogg, was once asked about his trousers and volunteered the comment, yeah, underpants are naff. I think we all subscribed to the same tailor. Not to be outdone, Clive wore a silver spandex skin-tight onesie. Line-up photographs, viewed at crotch level, resembled a vegetable shop, well stocked with red peppers, aubergines, and silver skin onions.
Tight trousers, the battle of the bulge. Ladies, do you want to see more tight trouser bulges? Text bulge to 3101. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because a lot of Spinal Tap
I was just thinking of it. Yeah.
When you watch Spinal Tap and you listen to the Iron Maiden story, you're like, wait a minute, didn't they just copy this from Iron Maiden, basically? You know? Yeah. So there's a thing about in the 80s where the guys were just wearing spandex and were just, I don't know, seemingly trying to highlight their penises. I mean,
right.
What's that about?
I don't know. Show us your package.
Yeah, but I can't even like from a, I don't know. It's a bit because what's that about? Like, is it because everyone can see it?
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. So it'd be like, I don't know, like us recording right now. And like, we're kind of facing each other. And we're like, I don't want to look.
Yeah,
but
it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. I didn't know what the thinking was. Like, because like, girls can like see the outline of my bulge and will be attracted by it. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure women don't actually like penises. Oh, well, I'm sure men do.
I don't know.
Anyway, text us to the number. Yeah.
555 penis.
Yes. the fashion choices, man. I mean, it was just sign of the times, isn't it? Thank God flannel came out later. We could hide it all up.
No more rocking out with your cock out.
That's right. And talking of rocking out, in Japan, Bruce comes to Japan.
I was on my way to the land of samurai and sumo, bullet trains, temples, and Mount Fuji, and electronic gadgets and video game nirvana.
When you come to Japan, most people are like, oh my God, I'm going to Japan. It's going to be fucking awesome. It's all samurai and all this shit. But really, there's nothing like that at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite ugly in a lot of places.
Right, in
but
some
like,
places.
ugly, beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, it looks really... Like they don't seem to wash the buildings here.
Mm-hmm.
Like once a building is built, no one's ever cleaning it ever again. So
pretty much.
If it rains, it's just like it's just really like rain trodden and really dumb. But inside it's quite nice. But
and some areas like seem to have been like left behind in time as well, which I personally like. I like a lot of people like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
It's like Showa era. They say like, is that 50s to 80s kind of? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, Japan, and it
retro.
Can be, it is very retro. But then, like Bruce said, that's the image you get.
When I stepped off the plane and went to immigration at Tokyo Narita Airport, a couple of things struck me immediately. First, it was unbelievably clean.
You're right. It is pretty clean, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about Australia, but in the UK, there's gum on the floor, there's crap everywhere. But in Japan, as we live, it's a nice place to live.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice.
No, I'm like, when I do see garbage on the floor, I'm a bit like, oh.
Yeah, it is like,
where'd that come from?
Wait, who did that? I can't believe someone did that. Yeah, I know what you mean. But Japan is very clean. Yes, good point there.
At the front of the audience, there was no barrier. There was instead an invisible Japanese force field. It was a piece of string between us and the crowd. We, of course, were down the front edge of the stage, Steve machine gunning with his bass and staring them out with crazy eyes. Every so often, one of the crowd would crack, shaking in a frenzy on the spot. Emotion would take over, and they'd step out of line, then back as if struggling against a moral tractor beam that pulled them towards the obedient masses. Like a shot, a little blue-suited man delivered a swift blow with a rolled-up newspaper to the poor chap.
Now, after living here for numerous years, he's spot on there. Because sometimes you meet people who are like, can I ask for permission to enjoy myself? Are you sure?
Dude, relax.
Yeah. I know what you mean. But yeah, back in the day, the live gig, man, I'm a huge UFC fan, and I used to watch Pride.
Yeah.
And if you watch those fights, you're like, nobody's talking. Everyone's really quiet. You can hear the footsteps of the fighters and stuff. It's so creepy. Even wrestling, pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm used to watching WWE, everyone's going, yeah, it's loud.
Yeah.
Japan.
What's the show going to be like this year?
Oh, now I think about it.
I don't know what to expect now.
Yeah. This is going to be my first time watching Iron Man in Japan. I'm sure the audience is quite crazy for it. But it's going to be an experience actually.
Be interesting.
Compared to, when I've been to Iron Maiden before in the UK, it's always everyone screaming, everyone's shouting, everyone's singing along. It's wild. But I'm interested. You're right, a good point there. Yeah? We'll check out.
We'll let you guys know for sure.
It probably won't be a line though, an invisible barrier.
No, I don't think so.
I think they will be a little bit more than that. But yeah, we'll let you know in a couple of months, guys.
And the phrase "big in Japan" is also very misleading. The Japanese have two entirely separate chart systems: the international and the domestic. Selling 50,000 records would catapult you handsomely towards the top of the international chart. 50,000 records on the domestic chart would barely register. It was rare for an international artist to make a domestic chart breakthrough, as, for example, Sheena Easton did.
If you think you dirty foreign American British people are going to top the cute Japanese idols in the charts, you got another thing coming.
Yep.
Pop music here is king. And even that is deceiving.
Right.
Because they do have two separate charts in Japan. One is for foreign music, which, so if you do sell 50,000, you're pretty big, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But even the main chart, so these idol groups, man, I've seen it, right? You go to the gig, you buy a CD, and if you buy a CD, you can shake one of their hands. But guess what?
I was going to say, what? You bought one CD?
Well, no, you buy a CD, you can shake their hand. But guess what? If you buy another CD, you can shake their hand again.
Exactly.
So you just keep buying CDs. People buy like 10 CDs just to shake their hands.
Yeah. And also you got to support your character. Person that
person you like.
Exactly.
It is kind of like that. Yeah. So it's totally inflated because people are buying these CDs, like 10 of the same copy, just to shake this girl's hand. And I told her once, this girl, my band played a gig, and there was a girl who was she was an idol singer.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to her later, and I was like, "Oh, are you?" Because she took a photo with me, and her fans got really angry because we did it for free.
Yeah.
And then she told me like, "Oh my God, yeah, I've had some weird things," because she says that she always has to like wash her hands with alcohol and stuff. Because she said that, and this is like, it's quite gross, but she said like guys would like go to the bathroom, masturbate over their hands, and then shake her hand, and it's like, for God's sake, man.
Oh man.
I think Japan's got to be top 2 for perverted people in the world, because if you go to these like places, you're like, oh my God, what is this shit? Is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Get a hobby.
Now Ashley knows why I shake his hand every time before recording.
Ew.
What? But that's wow. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Don't you have a child, right?
Yeah.
And your wife's Japanese?
Yep.
So she's half?
My child, yeah.
Ew. That's another thing of my humor. I always joke when people have half kids. I go, "Oh, you're half? Ew."
That's really bad.
It's funny. Yeah.
This is going back to the thing. There is things you would say.
I say that on play because my friend is in Fukuoka. He's got 2 kids, 2 girls. And like whenever his kid's there, we can hear him in the background. I'm like, "Oh, she's there." Ew.
I got friends like that. Even just back in Australia. So I'm going to have to do that. One's like,
it's funny.
Oh, hang on. Your kid's half, right?
Half, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In Japan, if you have a wife that's Japanese or whatever, your kid is called a hafu. Half Japanese, half foreign. Yeah. Ew. Okay. So let's crack on. Oh, they go back down to your neck of the woods, mate.
Do they?
It was instantly successful. Like with the cricket team, they don't initially take too kindly to a bunch of touring Poms. But they won them over in that first tour.
What's up with Pom? I don't get it. What's that about?
I have no idea.
Why do they call us Pom? Like, I know Americans call us limey because we used to have lime in the ships and stuff to stop us from getting like diseases and stuff like that.
Poms.
I wonder where Pom comes from. Any Australians? Ask fucking, what's your brother's name again? I can't even remember his name.
Starts with a
so
D.
insignificant.
But anyway.
Daniel, is it?
Yeah, that's close enough.
Right? All right, Daniel. So Daniel, let us know why you call me Pom. Pompous?
Possibly.
Might be pompous, right? Anyway, but yeah, big in Australia, already massive, doing really well. And let's listen to what happened then.
And there was one place, it was kind of in the outback, in the middle of nowhere, and it was a bit like Bob's Country Bunker, kind of Bluesborough sort of thing, not quite the chicken wire, but it was a tiny backstage, a little room. And then when we went there was all these like tables set up, and people were like eating dinner and stuff. And it was like, oh, okay, maybe they're going to take the tables away, later on, and when they go on. But no, they didn't. They were there the whole night. And it was funny, like in between songs, you hear, table number 76, your steak ready.
I can picture this.
Okay, I can picture it too, right? You are Australian, right?
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Table 13, Parmigiana and wedges. Ready? Table 9, salt and pepper squid.
Sorry, we go on. Table 15. Steak, medium well. Table 15. 15. Table 6. Margarita pizza. Margarita. Table 11. Large chips. Large chips for table 11.
Picture it, they're fucking rocking it out.
So yeah, that's basically what happened. In the middle of Halloween name, just someone ordering wedges. Thank you for doing that, mate. I did enjoy that quite a lot.
I did too. That actually took me back a bit too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much that was it. So they were in the old Ozland.
Now it's all the electronic. You don't get called over the PA anymore.
Oh yeah, it's just a little beeper, right?
The then lighting designer had seen the, I think it was an English National Opera Company or something else like that, but he'd seen these giants at some festival, opera festival, where he was going looking at the production. And he talked to the guy and said, could you make a big giant that looked like that, like Eddie?
So there you go. Dave Lights with old Eddie. Dave Lights saw the opera The Giants, and that's where the walk on Eddie comes from.
Yeah.
Because they used to have a guy dressing up as Eddie. It's not quite the same, because if you're in a big place, you can't see him on stage.
Eddie's on stage. Where?
Yeah. Is he him? He's right there. There's no way you can see him, right? So they made the massive one, and it's part of the show even today.
That's right,
They got these awesome robotic ones now, and it's brilliant. When Eddie comes out, man, it's always awesome.
Yeah.
Don't deny it. Brilliant.
I think I heard about Incubus at one stage. They actually tried to ask Iron Maiden, can we use one of the Eddies?
Huh.
They never got an answer though.
I wouldn't. I saw Incubus once live, and they were the biggest, most pretentious arseholes I've ever seen in my life.
I've seen them once, yeah. I thought they were good though, but possibly pretentious.
It was just, they didn't look at the audience, and they just played without talking at all, and then just walked off, and I was like, wow, what a bunch of dickheads.
Oh, I'll give you that actually. Yeah, they weren't that very, what's the word? Audience engaging.
Brandon Boyd.
Yeah.
Cool name.
Pretty cool.
We used to get people turn up in America with these Eddie tattoos, and their cars were covered in Eddie. That got a bit crazy. It was a bit scary. I love him, really.
Several times we put Eddie on the cover of Kerrang! Eddie would sell as well, as John Bon Jovi, as Gene Simmons, whatever. It was a recognisable cover image.
Yes, Eddie, I know I gypped you before, mate, but please forgive me. You are the star, mate. You are the cover on the magazines. You are the image, man. Without you, they wouldn't have sold half as many albums, man.
He is the man.
How many people blind bought Iron Maiden albums just because of Eddie on the cover?
Oh, definitely.
A lot.
Yeah.
A bloody lot.
Yeah.
Love you, mate. See you on the next podcast, I hope. Anyway, so Bruce is in. Number of the Beast is out.
Mm-hmm.
Main are in. Clive will soon be out. Clive, love you. His feel, drumming is unmatched. Nico McBrain comes into the band later.
Yep.
Nico is a great drummer. Fantastic. Remembers all the parts. Fantastic. But there's something about the feel of Clive that is very, very difficult to match. But let's crack on.
We had problems with Clive on tour, really. In that particular case, we gave him 3 months to sort himself out. And he didn't.
I think with time, maybe it could have been sorted out, but time wasn't what we didn't have.
It's all about live. So if we start not being able to perform at max out, 150%, then things are going to change.
Didn't feel like I wanted to leave. I just got asked to leave one day, and that was it.
That's heartbreaking, that part is.
I feel bad, but then again, I always smile when I hear him talk too. But yeah.
So it's a little bit vague there, right? So, but what I understand, right, is basically Clive and Steve were not getting on very well, and like they did say that Clive found Number of the Beast quite a little bit difficult to play.
Yeah.
Now Clive's got great feel and he's a great drummer, but I guess the way that Maiden were going, the direction they go, more progressive, more difficult stuff. I guess he just wasn't. And I totally understand if Steve's like, if you want someone to play something, they can't play it. It's like, fuck. Because you're limited to what you can do.
I'd hate to be the person making that call, though.
Right, yeah, exactly. And
I don't think I could do it.
Exactly. Mixed with like a bunch of, him having a bit of, not getting on with Clive.
Yeah.
He's having problems with drugs and all these other things. On top of that, Steve really wants to up the game a little bit and Clive just isn't able to do it. But it's quite vague, but I'm not really sure. But anyway, let's listen to Bruce's thoughts on the situation.
The interpersonal chemistry required to sustain a global rock group over many decades is nothing short of a miracle. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. All Indians and no chiefs. One chief and rebellious Indians. Stupid chief, clever Indians. All are doomed to fail. The temperature of the porridge has got to be just right.
You do need a good balance of people and, because you're trying to, if you're gigging and touring and you're fighting with someone, it's just not a good vibe for everyone.
Good balance and good balance of fiber.
Porridge. More?
Once the rot starts in a band, it's like a dog with a bone, always there, waiting to be gnawed on. We were too busy to talk about it, too close to escape from it, and too tired one minute and full of adrenaline the next to be rational about it. The juggernaut rolled on, but one wheel was wobbling.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in a couple of bands and they usually break up because of two people fighting, not getting on.
Yeah, that happens.
You know what I mean? It's never usually like a group thing. It's just two people. And one of the members seems to be the one who's like the most important member.
Yes. I'm just reliving
Take the ball back up.
Here
Yeah, I'm sure anyone that's been in a band knows the situation because, it's usually just you and one other person and someone takes the ball and goes home.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, okay.
Can't play anymore.
Yes.
Oh.
And also being mature enough as well. Like when I think back to it now, like I remember I had a band with my friends. It was really, really fun. It's a hardcore band and really fun to play. But the drummer was getting busier with work.
Yeah.
And we couldn't play as much. And I was like, I want to do more and more. So I just started like, guys, well, I'll do another band with some other guys to like counteract that.
Yeah.
But then that made everyone else pissed off because they were like,
well, you're in another band. And
but I was like, but in my mind, I was like, I just want to play.
Yeah.
But thinking about it now, I shouldn't have done that actually. I should have just, waited for it. But when you're young and you just want to crack on and get on with things, man.
Right.
And, it's totally understandable. I mean, I suffer from that. Anyway, my personality is I just want it now.
Yeah.
I hate waiting. I will pay the extra Amazon fee to next day delivery. I will pay it. I want it now, you know. But I guess it's not productive in a band situation, you know. So, but Clive is a huge member of the band. But if you're going to be bringing everyone down and bringing Steve down,
sorry,
it's going to be in trouble.
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, let's find out, shall we?
I'm loath to attribute drugs as the root cause of Clive's growing estrangement from Steve, but slowly, yet surely, niggles and arguments crept in backstage. Clive's luggage was an issue. Clive got more luggage. Steve jumped on the drum riser, telling him to play faster. Clive slowed down. The front of the bus became the front line, and the back of the bus turned into a bunker for the bad boys. They had such a terrific on-stage row in Kiel Auditorium, St. Louis, that Clive went into slow motion in protest. I didn't help matters by bringing out a pillow and 2 blankets and pretending to go to sleep in the middle of the stage in protest. I thought that was a bit out of order, Steve said. Fair enough, I replied.
Well, Clive, seems you were a bit of a immature lad. Now, I believe Bruce there because it never made sense to me before why Clive left.
Yeah.
It was always quite like, he wasn't up to it, whatever. No like concrete stuff, whatever. And clearly there was more because if Steve wanted him gone, he's gone, you know.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
clearly, if Clive is doing, the protesting thing where he's playing half the speed, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, there's paying customers there, man. It's not right to do that,
true.
you know.
Right.
But like I said, being immature at that age, man, I'm sure you regret it now. Like, but at the time, you're just reacting to your world is your world, right?
Yeah,
you can only do that. But yeah, all right, Clive. I'd expect more from you, but
The next 3 albums and tours equated to the next 5 years of my life. All of it, though, would be done without Clive Burr. let go at the end of the Number of the Beast tour. It wasn't about luggage, and it wasn't about partying or girls, because anybody and everybody was guilty of that at some time or another. Artistic differences would be to overstate his creative input. The closest phrase I could get would be self-fulfilling, irretrievable disagreements. The breakdown of the relationship between a drummer and bass player is pretty fundamental, especially if the bass player also happens to be the principal songwriter and band leader. Clive always regarded the Maiden setup with a jaundiced eye, even as he was held in high regard by the fans. I loved his drumming feel, essentially because his sweet spot was of the big band swing time variety that guys like Ian Pace of Deep Purple had going for them. Where we didn't see eye to eye was in the intricate and often eccentric fills and time signatures dreamt up by Steve. Their personalities were increasingly on a collision course. Steve was shy offstage, but aggressive and precise onstage. Clive was Mr. Outgoing offstage, but often Mr. Approximate when it came to precision onstage. Throw the whole melange into a pot, and it got messier and messier throughout America. By the end, Steve took me to one side and said, "He's got to go. I can't fucking take it any longer." On the one hand, Steve and I had come a long way since near fisticuffs in Newcastle City Hall. On the other, I would be sad to see Clive go, but things had clearly been bubbling under for a long time.
I mean, in a metal band, drums is one of the most fundamental parts that you need a good drummer.
Yeah.
If you don't, especially modern metal, if you've got it, your drummer needs to be way better than everyone else in the band.
Yeah, definitely.
You need someone that's really, really good. And Maiden is not that complicated, but they are getting more and more unorthodox. And it's a balance of what everything that Bruce just said, and wanting to do more complicated stuff. And that's just where it goes. But yeah, mate, Clive Breer, legend. Love his feel. He's right. He's a great drummer. All the stuff that he drummed on is brilliant. It's classic stuff. Love the guy. And he's, I love listening to his interview too, which is very good.
Definitely.
Might come back to him in the future and give him a little pat on the back again.
Yeah.
But rest in peace, mate. And I'm very sorry it didn't work out for you because.
That's it, man.
But the next couple of albums are very, very, very challenging.
They're right.
And he probably, in a way, like, oh, fuck, thank God. Because the next album is Peace of Mind.
Yeah.
And the first track on that album is one of the most interesting drum parts you've ever heard in your life at the beginning. And it's like the first track. And you're like, fucking hell. Now, I'm not saying that Clive couldn't have done it, but he'd have probably been in the studio for a while to do it.
Yeah, be like, oh, shit.
Yeah, because it is very, very interesting. But thank you very much, Clive. And let's crack on with the rest of what happens next? Let's find out.
There is a reluctance on the part of bands to admit that they are not democracies. The only member of a band who is quite happy to say, "Of course we are a democracy," is the local dictator, because he knows he will never be contradicted. The lesser beings, talented as they may be, have to put up with the largesse of the main man. And that's just the way that it is. It doesn't have to be unpleasant.
No band is a democracy. No band at all.
You try.
It doesn't work.
No.
Because you need someone to make decisions. Yep. Someone's got to grab the bull by the horns and crack on.
That's true.
And if everyone has got a vote, you got to understand that. If you're joining a band, someone else's band, you got to understand that, they're making the decisions and it's your choice to leave and to be there. You don't have to be there.
Yeah.
But it is like that usually. The songwriter is making the decisions, not because like they're essentially better, but they're the ones who've started the band and started things going. So that's how it is.
Right, exactly.
What's the squeaky wheel gets the grease, whatever. You got to get out there and do something. Do your own thing. If you're not happy with it, crack. Go away. Which is what happens.
I wonder how it is for the other guys too, because I've never experienced it. I was in a band, but coming into a band that's already established.
I've done that.
Yeah.
One of I'd say my second band I did that as a bass player. I joined in, and I was given freedom to play what I wanted, but like I said, I respected the songs and I didn't try to change them or anything like that because I knew that I was joining a band that was already established. And I was like,
exactly.
I'll just do my own thing and just let me know what you want. Later, I'm sure I would have got more, hey, what about this? What about that? But, when
you've kind of, after a while, cemented yourself in there.
Exactly. But you got to respect that, and understand that this is someone else's idea. And it has to be that way because otherwise you'd just be standing around going, all right, what font should we use for the logo?
Right.
Well, I want this one. Well, I want this one. I want this one. Well, someone's got to fucking decide.
Exactly.
And sometimes as well, the majority is wrong.
Yeah.
And,
it happens, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's why it's not always like, oh, whoever has the most votes. It doesn't work. It's just, someone's got to crack on with it, you know? And so it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Maiden has been Steve always.
Yeah.
Bruce then comes into a little bit more because, you know, he's also writing lyrics and singing as well. But like the other guys, like Dave Murray, he's happy just to hang back and do whatever he wants.
That's right. Yeah.
Nico is the same. He's coming in to be the drummer now. And Adrian Smith left for a while because he wanted to do his own thing, basically. And then he come back. But even he does his solo stuff too. But, you know, they're quite, they're happy to let Steve, you know, make the decisions, which is fine. It's worked well. It's kind of worked out well. But maybe someone else should pipe up at the moment because a bit of fat on the songs. But anyway, let's start with the new drummer.
We entered a whole new world with a leap of faith and a new drummer. Nico McBrain was a professional musician and had known almost nothing else for his working life. Technically, he was totally overqualified for us. The drum parts to date were busy, but not a problem for Nick in the slightest. He'd toured with the French band Trust already, and when they supported Maiden, I'd watched him play from the side of the stage. Steve and the rest of the band were Trust fans, having toured with them previously.
So, Nico, and for my American friends, not Nico. A lot of Americans, Canadians call him Nico.
Nico?
His name is from Nico, so it's Nick. All right, Nico, you know, but they call him Nico.
Yeah, I get you.
He's not from Croatia, for God's sake.
No, he's not from
Yeah, but no, I'm only joking, but man, whatever. Nico. Anyway, he joins the band, and for anyone you would like to know about him, he was in the video for Number the Beast. He's one of the devils on the stage with the little thing.
Yeah.
We were connecting with Nico throughout the years, you know, either this show or this show, you know. The most natural person to have in the band.
In the early days, in North London, when me and Nico used to go for auditions for bands, there used to be like 10 or 15 drummers go. And then there'd always be two left, that'd be me and him. And I always used to know he'd get the gig. But I didn't have to worry, because the phone would ring 2 weeks later, because he'd always get the sack.
Yeah. So it's another British thing too, like Nico, Jono. Like I had a lot of people where I grew up, you know, like, all right, Jono. I think I've been in Australia too, right? Yeah. It's like a thing to have it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he sounds like a cool guy, right?
Yeah.
But this is, ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, this is the drummer of Iron Maiden right now.
Another thing.
Man, not only did they get a fantastic drummer who could handle all the things Steve wanted to do, but he's a personality, man.
He is a character, isn't he?
Huge character.
Yeah.
He's a big part of like when they go on tour and stuff. He's out there doing, you know, at the front, and he's just a great personality. And but yeah, Rod was not actually happy with him at the beginning.
I was very concerned about his influence within the band.
I don't personally think Steve's making the right choice, because I know you and all this business, you know, winding me up. And I think generally he wasn't too sure.
And if you didn't know, he's from London, proper London, yeah. But yeah, Nico actually, he lives in Florida now. He has a rib restaurant, rock and roll ribs, whatever.
Yeah,
I think he's a Christian now as well. So
okay.
Well, I'm sure right now he wasn't in this band, because if they worry about his antics, whatever, you know, he likes a beer, likes a drink, and enjoying his life. But yeah, he's a great member of the band, and he's been in the band ever since. And we'll talk more about his actual drumming when we get to that.
Nico was a dead ringer for Animal from the Muppets. His face would light up as he started to play, and the drums would each receive their individual encouragement vocally, very similar, in fact, to Steve's nocturnal mumblings on the Number of the Beast. When cymbals were struck, and Nick has always liked to spank a nice piece of metal, they were always treated to special intimacies. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off.
Him smashing the drums, going, fucking have it. Yeah, fucking have it.
I love it.
Great. He is a character. Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've got the band together now.
Mm-hmm.
The Number of the Beast is out. They're huge.
Yep.
And now comes up the follow-up album that they got to do with a new drummer and, you know, a bit of money, a bit of time.
Yep.
What the band used to do is they'd rent a hotel in Jersey when it was low season, and we'd get a chef and a pool table and a dartboard.
24 guys with a 24-hour bar, and you didn't have to pay for any of it.
Dear me.
We're going to have a play today then? Ooh, no, I don't think we need to, do you? Got any new tunes ready? Yeah. Shall we have a go at them then? No. Okay, fine, let's go and have a beer then.
We had the crew over there and it was just like mayhem for months on end.
The gear was just there 24 hours a day, set up. And you could go down there at 10 in the morning in your gym jams and just sit with pick a guitar up, and somebody else would wander in. So what are you doing? Cool, isn't it? Suddenly you'd go, oh yeah, that's cool. Tape recorder goes on.
Bruce and I started really working well together. You know, I never really sat down with I didn't write with Paul, so I never really sat down with a great singer. And then I play a riff and he just comes up with something amazing because, you know, just opens his mouth and all of a sudden you got a great sounding song, you know. So that was a new thing for me to get into as well.
This was the first album we did with Nick. So he was like a new toy to play with. You know, it's like, wow, and he does this, and he can do this. I wonder if he can do this. Can you do this? I wonder if we can make him do something really mad. Could you do this and this and this? He can too.
Yes. So the band are now locked up on an island writing the new album. That album is called Peace of Mind. And it's very good, ladies and gentlemen.
Doesn't that sound like fun though? And dangerous at the same time.
Crazy, right?
Just
Stuck.
a hotel.
No phones.
Yep.
No internet.
Mm-hmm.
Just a pool table, some darts, 24-hour alcohol is available whenever you want it. The gear is set up.
All set up, ready to go. Wow.
And what they create on this album, spoiler, is one of the best things they've ever done.
It was a good hotel stay.
Yeah, very good stay at the hotel. Sonically, song structure, song-wise, etc. I mean, it is incredible. I love The Number of the Beast, but I love Peace of Mind.
I mean, it's another important album when you think about it, eh? Because it's not their second album, but it's the second with Bruce.
Yeah, it's the second with Bruce, and it's the second album where people are like, you know, really into the band, really popular now. So they got to nail it.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, the roller coaster continues on.
Definitely,
and so shall we. And so guys, let us know what you think. We'll carry on. Next podcast will be the Peace of Mind Part 1. And you can email us at listen@imaidenbaby@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. And Ante, mate, we are getting up there, mate. I'm excited to talk about this album.
Right.
Number of the Beast was great.
Fucking awesome.
I think there's no controversy with the next album.
Yeah.
It's just hit after hit, basically.
No thieving of
well,
lyrics? Or?
I will delve into that and hopefully find something. Yeah?
Nice.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you next time.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Table 9. Salt and pepper squid.